I'm God descended. I'm God descended. Kiskagian. I am God. So let's begin now. I want to give everybody just think about that. I'm God descended. I'm Kiskagian. I am God. So the Kiskagian comes from Quisqueya. Quisqueya is, if you don't know already, is Taino. Yes, indigenous. So that's where I descend from ancestors, and this is from the Dominican Republic. You know, we got history from the Columbus history. So when you talk about Dominican Republic, we already know there's all this information out that no, the indigenous were not wiped, and there's a lot of information more so of the story how it didn't end with just one conflict or one problem and interest of people coming into the country and claiming the country when it's not theirs. More than one war is the Christopher Columbus story. It didn't end with that because there was never an agreement that anybody could sit on where you want to come in and you put war, you rape, you kill, like genocide. So you bring people from indigenous slaves from overseas, you bring them over to fight the indigenous. And then it becomes Dominican Republic, Hispaniola, and all this extra stuff. Like, no offense. Like, because of the names of the changes, we have to say, okay, it's Dominican and this is what it is. But not taking the name away from the natives, it's Quisqueya. So you have to know your history. Like, why is it important? Because I come from that history. My grandmother, since I was small, 2 years old, the land was what I focused on. The land was what corresponded to me as a small child from 2 to 6 years old. It was just all the island. My grandmother would have to stop me every day from something, either a plant or an animal or something out of the nature I would want to bring inside the house. She'd be like, open your hands. Are you trying to bring something in? No, maybe. Or, that was part of my nature. The dirt, the food that we ate, it was clear. The dirt actually sprinkled. Like when the sun hit the dirt actually shined. Black dirt, that's vitamin D12. Super. That you can smell it from a mile away when it's coming. That when it's on the food and the fruits, that when that donkey used to come with the man and the donkey used to come, I could smell the dirt, and some of the dirt was still on the fruit and the vegetables as I eat them. And that's dirt that you can eat. And this is what I came up. I was brought up. My grandmother made sure that I had all those years in my system, so I can know where I come from and what's my essence. So when I come up, I put that same energy and that same love that was taught by education and was taught by indigenous practices, that this is what health is. This is what living with the land and focusing on the land. The land is going to be our protector. That was like spiritual. Like that's how I was brought up. Like We believe that if you take care of the land will take care of you. That no leader ifs or buts about it. Leader or non-conqueror. No, that's why that mentality of come in and conquer, that wasn't part of our indigenous ways of being. The currency that came in and those systems that came in wasn't what our indigenous practices were. There's a lot of stuff that got erased. There's a lot of stuff that war, divide and conquer, and destroyed. Facts. But although all these facts come to one thing, and I'll tell you one thing only, that none of the indigenous were not extinct. So meaning, and the Thanksgiving, that treaty wasn't the end of that. There was plenty and plenty of wars because they was coming from overseas just trying to take over. And none of the natives were fine of it at all. So we are indigenous. So look into that, and I want everybody to look into it. We are all indigenous. Go into your ancestors. Go into your DNA. Because right now, this is about making sure that we protect the land. So what happened to the land? We are land people. We are indigenous people. We know that the land's going to take care of us and we live by the land. So all my indigenous people, when you look back at it, that's where medicine comes from. All the medicine comes from how the indigenous pulled out the information from how everything from the universe, from the sun coming and nurturing things, and how things are to give health and nurture. We understood that. We practiced it. We very skilled. There was just one little thing that probably wasn't all there because the science to look into the animals. Because when you're in this world and you're trying to figure it out, you're caveman times. You're indigenous. You're coming up. You see that the animals eat each other. Then what happens? Have you seen the indigenous people, certain ones, do cannibalism? Yes. Because what they just see, they feel that's survival. And not only that, then humans they start eating the animals. And what happens with that? Is that, you know what, you can still live a long time, but it's like any bacteria, any sickness or anything that is going to hurt you, like a cigarette, chemicals, and these all fall into the thing. You could keep doing it. The more you might not get you right there, but you might get so much complications before it gets you, and you're done. You're gone, because the more you out of that nature, and the bacteria in the animals. What happens with the indigenous? They will overpass. They almost were going over it. But that doesn't mean they couldn't live longer or they didn't have any effects on it. Because the bacteria is in every animal. What happens is that the nutriments that the animal eats from the plants, because the animal is just plant-based. Buffaloes, all the animals, they just eat plants, vegetable, greens. That's what when we consume it, that's the nutriments. So we don't, the animal doesn't produce that on its own. No animal in this world. Look at the Game Changer. There's one thing I'm gonna show you about the Game Changer too. It has a side to it that I analyzed it for what it is, and it's very important. So I'm gonna get there too. So let's go back to our indigenous practices. So we didn't know about that much about the meat. So the meat part, we could have picked up after the modern science came, and they took over with modern science and modern medicine.